Joining us now, and this is Representative State Rep Bill Lant from Missouri. He owns a business right on the outskirts of Joplin, which was saved, but he was eating with his family at a restaurant when the devastation hit, and he's joining us now on the phone to give us the latest from the area. Bill, it's great to talk to you, and our prayers and thoughts are with all of your fellow citizens from Missouri. This is such a terrible time for them, and I can't even look at these photos without thinking of each and every family whose lives have been turned upside down.
Well, thank you for that, Laura. It's been an interesting few days, I'll say that.
Tell us about what happened on Sunday, your own personal experience.
I had met my wife and granddaughter. Myself and my son and my grandson went up to IHOP to meet them for dinner. And we had just gotten seated good, and I sat down with my back to the window and noticed that another of the state representatives was in there with his family. They'd been at a graduation ceremony, and the power went off. And Bill got up and walked outside, came back in and said, "Bill, get your family under cover. There's debris in the clouds." Well, there had been a siren that went off a half hour earlier, but everyone figured that, whatever that siren was about, it was over. So I got up, and thankfully everyone else in the restaurant, probably 40 people, followed Bill's advice, and we all went into the kitchen area, closed the door to the kitchen, and got under some stainless steel tables, and some of the folks got in the cooler, and about that time it hit. And for probably 30 seconds, more noise and more wind and debris flying around than I've ever experienced in my life. And over all the noise and all of the uproar, I could hear my wife and my granddaughter praying as loud as they could pray. So after everything was said and done, we got outside and looked around, and everything in the area was flattened, the Home Depot and the restaurants across the street, and we were standing there in the shell of the IHOP, and really the only thing that was relatively unscathed was the kitchen that we were in.
And it's staggering to see the photos. We're looking at them now, and staggering to see the sheer devastation of all of this. But it obviously all comes down to the personal effect on each family going through this deep sense of loss, and it's heartbreaking to see. And at the same time, we have to ask you whether there is some concern on the ground that there hasn't been the presence of this administration on the ground. I mean, not to make this political, but would that have been helpful, or would that have been a distraction to have the White House and the Obama, Mr. President himself on the scene?
If it had been initially within the first 24 hours, it might have been helpful. I heard this morning that he's planning to come this weekend, and basically all that's going to be is shutting down the things that we need the most in order to make room for his security details and all of those things. It basically is a dog and pony show from this point forward. We had our state people were here, the state representatives and senators, and the congressional delegation has been here. The governor has been here. They've made the proper declarations for FEMA and all of those people to come in and get started. So at this point, anything else is just going to be a distraction.